Hello and welcome to Whirlybirds 5. So, there have been a few upgrades from our last episode. It's more or less the same mission. However, we are here in the newly upgraded and repainted Mi-8 as a US Army medevac. I forgot to remove the external store racks because this is more or less a medevac helicopter now, but well, they can stay there, I suppose. And we will be trying the same mission, but this time from the perspective of an Mi-8. The Mi-8 is of course much bigger, and I've made some small scripting improvements to the mission. We are more or less located at the same place at the Nellis Air Force Base. You can see the C-17s in the distance, and there were some other birds nearby. I think a couple of F-117s and a couple of F-16s over here. So let's close the window and get started. So I'm going to jump again to the flight engineer's position. I'm not going to power up the weapon systems because we will not need them. And I'm going to put on the 2 batteries, electric to auto, arming the fire extinguishing system and the fuel pumps on, APU ready to start and on. I'm going to quickly hide the pilot here and set on the rotor brake to released. Now let's monitor the APU here. And as you can see, my crew now has American uniforms. The helmets are still Russian, I think, but, well, can't have everything. And let's go left engine start up, and now let's give it some gas. And she is starting out. I know I look a bit tired. I have been tired quite the whole time today. I do not know why. I just feel tired for some reason. And there we go. There goes the number 1 engine. It's a bit slower to start than the UH-1. Waiting for the engine to stabilize, right over here, the RPM. This is the gun sight, but we won't need it, so. Alright, switching to engine 2, powering up. And fuel shut off deactivated. Now we're going to wait for engine number 2 to spool up. It's at about 30%. And I think the engine is already spooled up, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to and this is a very powerful set of engines. Okay, the bird's fully spooled up, and she's quite noisy at that. I'm gonna connect the generators 1 and 2, the rectifiers, and I'm gonna start setting on the systems. So I'm gonna go to the Copilot first. So first we're gonna activate his instruments, then we're going to activate the lighting, apologies, navigation lights, anti-collision lights, left and right engine dust protection. We all need heating and blade tip lights. And I'm going to disconnect the APU. Next to the pilot seat, I'm going to activate all his instruments. Stabilization system and autopilot on. Radar altimeter, we need to wait for the bit. Now I won't be using any navigation system, this is going to be full VFR, just like before. Let's set this to about 20 meters. Yeah, this uses meters. And let's go to the Copilot for a bit. I don't have I'm not using anything like this, so, but just turning it on for good practice's sake. Gonna set these engine switches as they're supposed to be. I think we're ready to go. I'm not going to use the Doppler microwave for radar navigation system. And I guess we're good to go. We're going to be departing to the east. These are the hangars behind us. Last time I think we left from the other side of this parking area. So okay, let's see if I can make her take off. Come on, Natasha. Okay, there we go. Let's go give it a bit more right pedal. We're going up. She accelerates quite quickly. That's one of the nice things I guess about the Mi-8. And we're flying mostly to the east. These are the far sides of the runway, so we're going to turn and follow this road. And we're going to go a little bit higher. We're good at about 300 meters, about 1,000 feet above the ground. Still climbing a bit. This is quite a mountainous area, as you may have noticed in the last stream. And this helicopter is a lot faster than the UH-1. Much bigger also. Okay, the trimmer's on. I'll just try to fly her manually. This has an autopilot, by the way. And apparently the SAR system is off. I do not know why. I did turn it on, but... Now, this helicopter has one nasty tendency, VRS when landing. I might have mentioned it before. I'll just fly it manually. I think it's quite nice to fly. A very stable helicopter while in the air, at least, in my opinion. And quite responsive as well. Just need to follow this road until I reach... What was the name of that town? I don't remember. Well, that intersection ahead. Could always, of course, activate the autopilot. Altitude hold. And it will try to stabilize eventually. If I move the collective, the autopilot is turned off because I'm basically overruling whatever it's trying to do. I'll just fly manually. This won't take that long. Not as much as the Huey, and I enjoy flying this a little tiny, maybe a little bit more. I mean, in flight it feels a little bit better. And we are already at the intersection. The Huey took a lot longer to get here. We're gonna turn here. You see the road just going in front of our cockpit. Sorry, I feel like I'm showing you like you would be in the cockpit with me, but yeah, it's pretty much the road that goes to our left. And we're going to follow it into the mountains. It's a very slow turning helicopter, more akin to an airliner rather than a helicopter. It's a very large helicopter regardless. Look at it, it just turns beautifully. Now, of course, in lack of similar-sized American helicopters that I would use for search and rescue, like, I'm not sure if the Black Hawk is as big as an Mi-8, but close in size. This is more like a... No, the CH-53, the Stallion series are a bit bigger, but, you know, kinda there. Medium-sized utility helicopters. This is considered still a medium utility helicopter. As a difference, you can see the pilot basically flying. I mean, the co-pilot can fly as well. Obviously, he is also trained to fly, but the pilot flying is more like an airliner. It's on the left side of the cockpit, so... Yeah, but yeah, this is quite a fast helicopter for its size. It could probably go faster. We're doing about 140 kilometers an hour. This road, by the way, is just an excellent reference for visual flight rules, because I know where it leads, I know the area, so it will make it easy to find and pick up the soldier boys. Of course, I'm always happy to, by the way, this is a small announcement, if any of you want to lend your voices and be voice actors in any of these missions that I'm going to start making as well, you are welcome to volunteer. Of course, sadly, I cannot pay you for your time, but if you want to do it out of passion and of course to help me out, I would be more than happy to have you. We're going down the right track. So the guys are no longer Sergei and Boris or Ivan and Boris. Now they're Gus and, well, Gus from the Huey and Donald. Or Don. Let's call him Don. It's a better name. So Gus and Don. Gus is the co-pilot. Don is the flight engineer. Now, a bit about the Mi-8. Of course, being a large helicopter, it's also quite a very capable gunship. It can carry up to... It has 6 weapon stations on the external racks. I have not turned them on, of course, but you should know it has them. If you're considering buying it with the Easter sale and you like helicopters, it's a very warm recommendation from my end. If you like specifically utility helicopters, it's one of the 3 helicopters with an actual autopilot, if you can call it that, and stability augmentation systems. Let's see. It's also capable of carrying soldiers, of course. You can have door gunners, and it's quite capable of performing other roles as well. Sling loading, it's quite efficient at that. It can carry much bigger loads than the UH-1. The Ka-50 is also a very decent helicopter at sling loading. Yeah, quite fast. Can be flown without the SAS, of course, but I would not recommend it. I mean, you have an SAS for a reason, so I'm gonna try to accelerate a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going manual flight mode. I know it has an autopilot. Yay, Bogey Bear, you know, you're an idiot, you're gonna say. It has an autopilot. Nah, that's fine. At least I get a feel for the helicopter, so. Man, this place is desolate, seriously. It's like Las Vegas is just, you know, one shining beacon of civilization, and now it's... And we are how high? About 400 meters off the ground. So about 1200 feet off the ground. That's pretty nicely flown for AGL. AGL in this area. As long as we can maintain that, we should be more than fine. I'm simply trying... I'm not really looking much at the barometric altitude because I don't really care much about it, but for me, what's more important to keep the radar altitude to a safe margin. I see how nicely she flies. One thing I would recommend, of course, if you get the Mi-8, take it easy. She's gonna try to kill you at first, but once you get used to her, she's quite nice. Natasha, just be gentle with Natasha and she'll be gentle with you. That's my expert opinion. I mean, she's also a big girl. Her hips definitely don't lie, so... I was wondering where my rat, or oh wait, mouse cursor has gone. I can still follow the road like this, it's not an issue, it's just... Just gonna try to accelerate a little bit. Again, we're passing by this really weird place, and we're already quite far down this area. This is gonna take a while, but no, probably not as much as the Huey. And I'm gonna follow a more direct route home this time. I'm not gonna go to... what's the name of this airport? Mesquite and Denton Ellis. I'll go straight to Nellis. So... just turned on the heading hold, so I don't have to think about much about the... just maintain speed, and the helicopter will maintain heading. And all the 3 modes of the autopilot are now on. The autopilot will try to maintain current altitude. So it's a bit less of work for me to stop using the collective. I can just steer the helicopter if needed, but heading hold is on, so... And forgive me one moment, I really need to remember what did I set the controls to for trimming, so... Trimmer reset, 17 and 15. Let's see if I remember what was what. 17, 15. Alright, now I remember what the trimmer buttons were. I thought they used to be different buttons. Now it's trimmed out. It will literally fly itself. With heading hold or altitude hold, I don't really need to do anything. It's gonna go up a bit, then it's going to stabilize at the desired altitude. So this is the beauty of the Mi-8. For a helicopter, it's actually pretty okay. Now, it has a few tricks here that I've learned with the autopilot. For example, here, see this? I can adjust the heading. So, a few degrees left, few degrees right. So, that's also doable. If you want to use heading hold, you can adjust the pitch at the bank if you want. So yeah, that's pretty easy. So, heading and altitude hold, and you're golden. The bird just flies itself, literally. Now it's showing it's going up a little bit. Deactivate and hold again. Let's see. I haven't flown this using the autopilot in a while, but it's going to stabilize eventually. You should have basically 0 vertical speed. So as long as we can follow the road, we should be fine. That's why I'm not even touching the controls. See, and we're going through the Sally corridor and up. Now I move the collective downwards a bit. It wants to go up, I do not know why, but let's stabilize. And you can always just, if you want to trim the Mi-8, it's quite easy. Just move the stick to the new position you want and just push the trimmer button. And the helicopter should be trimmed. Now, trimming a helicopter is a bit different than an airplane because trimming means, well, it means mostly so you can fly hands off, which is what I'm trying to do. But in a helicopter, when you trim, you set the stick to a certain position, which sets a certain attitude in the helicopter with pitch or bank. Well, bank and, pitch up, nose up and nose down, and the helicopter will maintain that attitude. So in our case, we wanted to keep flying forward. We have heading hold on. I'm going to set heading hold on again. And the helicopter will continue maintaining our desired heading. There's also a button here where you can set the course. This is for actual course you want to follow. You cannot adjust the heading indicator. So whenever this line basically matches the course, then you're flying the correct heading. That's about it. It's a bit different, but I mean it's usable. So let's see, how do I look like? How does the pilot look like? Ew, mustachio. I think I would love to be able to change the pilot, but And we're approaching our area. I'm gonna deactivate heading hold, and I'm gonna start turning the burb. So if I keep the lakes here in the left window as a reference, I should be able to get where I need to. The point is maintaining a view of the lakes in the left window. So, you guys are awfully quiet tonight. Probably not all of you are viewing, considering it's the Saturday before Easter, so you might be having fun with your families, but that's completely understandable. I'm a man, I have no life, and I'm streaming helicopters. Woo! I just have fun with this. For me, this is actually very, I guess, quiet, and something that kind of relaxes me, flying helicopters, that is. Let's deactivate this autopilot, altitude hold for a bit, and just go up. There's terrain coming up ahead. And we are literally, well, very soon in the rescue area. Let's hope I manage to see these guys and do a proper approach, because the Mi-8 is very, very finicky, as some of you might know. But the fact that it's not a easy helicopter to fly like the Ka-50, well, the Ka-50 has a lot of its own quirks also, but I find it, that's why I like it. The Huey I find a bit easy for me. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm not good with certain things with the Huey, but otherwise I can fly it fairly competently. Helicopter's trimmed for trimmed for level flight, so I don't need to do much except control the altitude. Oh, that's a nice lake. I don't know much about this area, like geographically, what lake is this and what is what. But, well, I know I'm close to Las Vegas, and well, we're quite close to Las Vegas. Just checking my instruments a bit. By the way, I think this is the fuel gauge. We're fine. I mean, this is a bit of a fuel guzzler, but it's not horrible. I wish we had the option of more helicopters in DCS, more models than the current 4 we have, and I wish the environment would be a bit more open on Eagle Dynamics' side to allow more people to make modules, that would be amazing. I would be extremely pleased if they did that. I'm still trying to understand why they won't, but... I mean, there are a few helicopters that I would definitely love to fly. To try them, at least. This, I just had to check the map. I mean, I'm sure I'm in the right area, but... I must say, this is a lot less hassle than the Huey for flying, because the autopilot just helps a lot. Makes it a lot easier to fly. Well, it's not... I don't know if we can call it an autopilot. I guess it is an autopilot. Because it allows you to, you know, just go hands off the helicopter and do something else, like talk to Gus and Dawn here. Again, hands off, so... No, I'm not a good pilot, I'm just simply using all the functionality that the Mi-8 has to help me fly it better. If you've never seen the Mi-8, this is pretty much what it looks like on the inside. I do like the glass canopy. Well, canopy, windscreen. It's really nice. I'll just turn off the heading hold and try to get it to turn a little bit. And I'll just keep the heading hold off. The helicopter will just more or less keep steady, so. And the autopilot usually will keep you within plus minus 100 feet, or a bit more maybe, of your desired altitude, so we should be fine. I just took over for a little moment. And I'm gonna turn off the autopilot completely and just fly manually for now. Okay, and from here we know that the soldiers are somewhere to the northeast, but I can follow this road for a little bit longer. I know this is a bit cheating, but if I had a kneeboard map, I would be, well, I could follow it along with the VFR references of the area, but I don't have one, so I have to use the F10. Now, if you've seen the previous episode, the soldiers are quite nearby. Might have to go a little lower to see them, but... And lower and slower, first of all. I just reset the trigger so I can take over. Okay, time to take a closer look. Now, if I remember right, they should be popping smoke anytime soon. They're a bit somewhere off to the side here. I'll start dropping to a lower altitude so I can get a better visual awareness of where they might be. So I can do a proper approach, so I don't have to come from very high, so let's see what can happen. And low and slow. Yeah, we're somewhere close to a riverbed if I remember right. Now no point in using the map anymore. Yeah, they're somewhere off to the right. I'm just using the Mark 1 eyeball to spot those guys. If we fly over them, they'll pop the smoke, but they should have. Maybe I should have made them pop it sooner. Yeah, we're doing about 160 knots at the moment. If we fly over them, we'll probably see them. And if we get the smoke notification, then we'll at least be able to see the boys. Let's get a bit of speed here. I don't want to hover at this altitude. Let's keep about 70 kilometers an hour while we visually scan for these guys. We should be very close anyway. Gotta watch that VSI. Where are these boys? I'm just circling overhead. Being infantry, they're really hard to spot from the air. That's one very important thing. So. If they had the arc UD, that would be amazing, of course. But they do not. Come on, boys, make yourself visible. I should be able to spot some infantry 300 meters from the air, but... Where are those boys? We're gonna be circling around here for quite a while. I picked them up yesterday, but I can't find them today. And I want to use this map as little as possible. Okay, I suppose the trigger didn't exactly work. I made a trigger that basically if any of the helicopter squadrons are flying over them, they will pop smoke and do a small transmission, but apparently it didn't work. Yeah, where are those boys? Since I have no radio contact and no way to get to them. Weird. Okay, so they're a bit to this side. I'm just wondering why the trigger didn't work. If you guys can see them before me, I'll be very, very, very happy, but I cannot see these silly little soldiers that I myself put on the map. Yeah, there they are. Oh, okay. Yeah, the zone is a bit too small. Oh, okay, so that's something I will need to fix about the mission. Now, this is one of the hardest parts in flying the Mi-8, approach and landing, for me at least. I love the helicopter, but I'm not that good with approach and landing. I guess I need to go lower. I'm about close to 100 meters. Yeah, I'm the shim of all search and rescue helicopters here. Helicopter pilot, at least. That was a bad VRS right there. Okay, at least we're closer to the ground, so. Okie dokes. Okay, I don't want to go that high again. And I don't want to repeat the same mistake, so. Gonna try to take her in for a nice landing. Okay. Just need to keep her moving so she doesn't sink the same column of air, and it's one of the main reasons, I guess, what causes the VRS on it. She's very finicky. That's her main problem. She enters vortex ring state, by the way. Look it up. It's quite an interesting thing for helicopters. Look it up. It's on the internet. Doesn't really affect airplanes, if I remember right, but it affects helicopters quite a bit. Except coaxials. Coaxials are a bit more difficult to set into a vortex ring state compared to a classic. Okay, keep on moving. I'm a bit iffy about doing a normal vertical landing because I'm scared of the VRS. And these guys are probably thinking I'm very stupid. Okie dokie, let's see. Well, we're gonna try to land. It's a bit even worse than I had with the Huey. So, and with the Huey, I managed to land it without too much of a hassle. Okay, come on up. There we go. Let's watch our drift. Yeah, 20 meters. Okay. I need to work on my actual approaches. Okay, stop. There we go. Whoopsie daisy. And let's see, how the hell do you open the outer doors, because I have never really tried it. Cockpit door, open close cargo doors. Left control, left shift C. Yeah, apparently I still have to modify the mission to have them respond to the Mi-8 as well, not just the Huey. But yeah, well, a few bug fixes are needed, but apparently we were able to get there with Natasha. I just need to increase the trigger zone to have them pop their smoke. Obviously, we need definitely to improve on my landings with the Mi-8, which is pretty much a very nice search and rescue bird. And I need to, yeah, change the soldier trigger zone to be able to make use of the Mi-8 for search and rescue as well. Well, on behalf of myself, Gus, Don, the undaunted 8 that keep coming to the desert and keep requiring rescue, and of course, our white-hipped Natasha, I wish you a very happy Easter once more. Thank you for tuning in. If you have tuned in to Whirlybirds 5, Natasha to the rescue, she got us there safely. Again, just not the helicopter's fault, pilot's fault, that it ended with a not so nice approach and landing. But yeah, and with this I will call it a night. It's close to midnight here. I'll be going away, but I will love to see you in the next one. I hope you enjoy yourselves, and all the best to you and yours. See you in the next one.